Hello, lap swimmers. Aaron Lawson here with another episode. What I do here, if you're brand new, is that people ask me questions on my videos and I try to give them a quick response to help them out in the pool. This is mainly for lap swimmers, but competitive swimmers are welcome as well. And the first question I've got this week is actually somebody's asked me about professional swimmers' stroke, Sun Yang's. And this is a swimmer who's kind of on top of the world, specializes usually in middle distance to long distance swimming, and has kind of revolutionized his stroke a little bit. He's got a lot of people talking about his stroke, and one of the main reasons that they're talking about his stroke is because certain parts of it, certain pieces of it, don't really follow the traditional teachings of freestyle. And there's a couple of things that like swim coaches always preach, but this guy doesn't seem to follow it in a couple of ways. And you know, people are asking questions. One of the big ones is his kick. And usually you'll talk to swim coaches, and this doesn't invalidate anything that swim coaches say. It's just, it adds another factor because this guy is so successful, he's so fast. But usually swim coaches will have their swimmers for the freestyle, for the stroke, they'll have them do either 4, 6, or 8 beats. Usually it's 6 or 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, this guy, he's been around for 5, 6, 7 years on the main spotlight, but he doesn't kick nearly that much with his stroke. And he hangs usually around 2, and he ventures into like 3, but he's so fast and he really doesn't utilize his kick. So it's got people kind of scratching their head going, what's the dealio? How does that work? Well, the deal with that is, and this is one reason that I actually, when the Olympics come around, they're great inspirationally for a lot of people because it gets them back in the water. They're like, wow, they're amazed. They think it's great, so they get back into the pool. But the bad part about when the Olympics come around is that it confuses a lot of swimmers. It just does, especially like beginners that get in and they try to imitate the Olympians, or they try to do what they think they're seeing on the TV, and they try to put that into their stroke, and they're not exactly sure, despite how it looks, they're not exactly sure what they're actually doing or what they're trying to do. So it can cause some problems for like swim coaches when they try to work with their athletes because they've got these misconceptions as to what they're actually supposed to be doing. Here's something to keep in mind when you're looking at someone like Sun Yang's stroke. Highly efficient, but highly efficient goes into being able to be highly efficient with all the coordination and syncs, like within your body, syncing everything up. And he's phenomenal at that. Stroke, upper body, doesn't ever seem to lose tempo at all. Most people will fade towards an end of a race, but he actually accelerates through almost every single 25. He's very hard to stay up with because he's phenomenal as far as his turnover rate. Like probably the best that we've seen at his turnover rate and not actually fading. His kick, while he's not actually kicking, he does have his kick perfectly synced with the roll of his body, just barely, and he doesn't really need the kick. Like most people would think that they've got to motor that kick. He doesn't use that because he syncs his stroke with the roll of his body, and he has almost a perfect glide as he goes through the water per stroke efficiency. As far as a stroke coming through, moving through the water, the efficiency that he gets out of that is almost, it's almost off the charts. So he syncs that with his body roll and he rides the wave. That's what it appears to me. Because I've analyzed a couple of his videos, I've seen him for a couple of years, and he glides and uses the water better than just about anybody I've ever seen in my life. So he's got all of these things synced up, and it works for him because he's a phenomenal athlete. All right, now for the average lap swimmer, the person going out to swim laps, there's a couple things to keep in mind. Is that this is a phenomenally gifted athlete, and he may be able to do things that the average lap swimmer wouldn't be able to do. So having a properly consistent timed kick is the best thing for almost every single swimmer on the planet. I mean, even Michael Phelps uses that. So, I mean, it is something that is utilized by almost everybody. So to see one exceptional athlete break the rules a little bit does not negate the rule or cause the rule like, oh, well, he's not doing it, then that must mean that, and I don't like doing it, so that must mean that, you know, it's not something that I have to worry about. Well, for the most part, all of these rules actually apply to almost everybody across the board. So if you want to go with the 99% success rate, then stick with the things that you've been taught and try to implement those in. Now, here's something of a little bit of a philosophy that I like to use that is pretty true. And if you speak with a highly experienced swim coach, then they'll probably agree with this philosophy if they have enough experience and they've been around it long enough. And this is kind of what you're seeing with Sun Yang. You can't explain every little detail that goes into it. You'll hear people try, but you really can't. And there's a reason behind that, is because some people have a natural feel for the water. They're able to do these things very, very efficiently, more so than the average human. They have almost like a sixth sense about the water, and they're able to move through it. A philosophy that I use is that I can teach someone how to swim. I can teach someone how to swim faster, but I can't make someone fast. And if any of you have ever seen a competitive swim meet, then you'll know that there is a very definitive difference between everybody knows how to swim. Some people have a lot of effort and they know how to swim well. And then there's a category of swimmers that are out here. And for some reason, they are exceptionally faster in the water. There's an X factor that's involved there, and that's their natural feel, that's their natural ability, that's their natural coordination, sync, all of those things that they are able to do. And you can't really explain it, and it's a characteristic and a feature that some people have that's almost uncoachable. You can't coach someone to have that feel that separates them from the group and puts them into this super elite category. It's something that you either have it or you don't. It's kind of like pitching in baseball. You can teach someone how to throw. You can teach someone how to throw a little bit harder, but you can't teach someone that doesn't have the arm to throw 95. You can't teach that to someone who can only throw the ball 50. So I hope that helps you out. Jan, I hope that is a good enough answer for analyzing the stroke. You can watch many videos as far as people technically breaking it down, and I didn't want to do that because it would get to be too long. This is probably going to be too long right now anyways. But let's move on to the next part with the food and the workout and the stretches and dry land, all that stuff. All right. All right, guys, it's actually nighttime and it is snowing outside, so I'm going to try to run into this store. What we're looking for this week is snorkels. And a lot of you guys probably, like when you're little kids, you learn how to use a snorkel. You got a face mask and a snorkel off the side. But there are snorkels that you can use for competitive swimming or even lap swimming. And the benefit is that it helps you to keep yourself in form, in line while you're swimming, because you don't have to turn your head basically to breathe, is the benefit from that. So you can really focus on your form and your technique. Well, they didn't have anything, so I got denied. I've been to 2 stores, nothing. So I'm gonna have to find them online. I'll tell you guys what you're looking for. All right, guys, these are the kind of snorkels that I'm talking about. As you can see, it kind of rides on the front. You put the mouthpiece in, and it kind of runs right between your eyes. It splits your eyes and rides on your nose. But they're really good for competitive swimmers. But a lot of lap swimmers have ventured into this to where they're liking to use them as well, because it really helps them to become more efficient, because they don't have to worry about breathing quite as much. And it also allows them to focus on their stroke, so they can actually get some work done if breathing is an issue for you, which it is for a lot of people. So here it is. I'll put the link below to several several different kinds on Amazon, but if this is something that interests you, then you may want to look into it. All right, guys, and here's the last question for this week, and it's really not a question. It's that I wanted to address a lot of questions that I've actually been getting in the last probably 2 months, and I'm going to roll them all into one because I want everybody to know kind of how I feel comfortable about answering certain types of questions. I get a lot of questions about nutrition and diet, and I try to give you guys hints and pointers on here, but a lot of people ask me questions about their personal, like they want advice as far as their personal diet or how things are affecting their body. I also get a lot of questions as far as people's heart rates and why is their heart rate staying so high. I would love to answer swimming type questions, but there is a line where you should probably talk to a professional dietitian, and in most cases a doctor. So if you have something that is bothering you, you know, with your heart or with your breathing or anything like that, you're feeling lightheaded, something with your brain, I don't know, please don't just ask a swim coach. You know, if you think that it's an actual physical ailment that you might have or some kind of, you know, medical situation, then you need to go to a doctor. You really do. You need to go and have them check you out. If you have serious concerns about your diet, then you need to go to a dietitian. You need to find one and you need to ask them a few questions, because I'm not an expert on, you know, the medical field. I am a personal trainer as well, but it's not something that I feel comfortable giving medical advice, and there's a line there. So if there's anything that I haven't answered for you, then, and it flirts with that line, then that's probably the reason. I just didn't feel comfortable, you know, offering that kind of advice. So this is it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget, guys, I'm part of the Polar Bear Plunge. You guys want to support me, then the link is below. Also, I've got a lot of goggles this week. I'm going to send out a triple pack. There's 3 pair right here. This is awesome. These are all brand new. They're all Speedo, but I'm going to send these out. These aren't really your competitive goggles. These are like your lab swimming goggles, kind of like a, you know, if you don't have a pair, if you need an extra pair or something like that, then hey, here we go. So I've got a triple pack that I'm going to send out to somebody on my Facebook page. You got to be inside the continental United States, and you guys say, hey Aaron, send me those goggles, all 3 of them. And I'll be like, all right, and I'll get them in the mail and send them to your doorstep. So I hope that helps you guys out. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Write them in the comments down below. I'll let you guys know that I will probably be taking a few weeks off in the next few weeks, because I got a couple things that I've got going on, and I just don't want you expecting videos, because probably won't be able to put any out in the next few weeks, just letting you know. So guys, swim on, get in the water. You guys have any questions, let me know. Be glad to help. All right, guys, take care. Bye.